Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SEO Unmasked podcast. This is episode number 2, being recorded on August 10th, 2017. I'm Garrett Groff.
Hey guys, I'm Ben from Word Agents.
Steve Brownlee from Reach Creator.
And I guess I'm supposed to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Sue Duris, and I'm from M4 Communications.
Yeah, Sue's our special guest tonight. We're glad to have her. Typically, Sue, every guest we have just kind of gives a little quick background of what you do, and go ahead, channel's yours.
Oh wow, great.
Yeah.
Well, I am the co-founder and director of marketing and customer experience for an organization called M4 Communications, and if you want to check us out, it's m4comm.com. We're a marketing and customer experience consultancy. We work with early and mid-stage startups, education firms, and nonprofits to help them build and grow their brands through using sound marketing and customer experience techniques.
Cool.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm just pulling out there. Cool stuff.
What's that, Ben?
I said cool stuff.
Oh, sorry.
The website here.
Nice. All right.
Am I back? I think I got cut off there for a second.
Yeah,
you're
here.
back here, Steve.
Yeah. So, getting into things today, there's a couple of big things floating around the digital marketing world. First off was, I saw this week, a lot of Google AdSense users reported losing a bunch of money. After Barry kind of highlighted it over at the round table this week, I guess there were the typical rings of people abusing the AdSense network, and it resulted in some sort of algorithm shift where everyone just got nailed for the clicks they were sending to Google, and a lot of people weren't happy. I saw in some forums, people, some of the big guys, that are doing $5K a month in AdSense, or not a month, a day, lost quite a bit of revenue in a couple days. But Google claims they have it fixed up, and I don't know. It's kind of not something you'd see very often, but newsworthy, I guess.
The thing I found weird about it is normally when there's some ad fraud been reported, or there's something like that going on, they try and put things right in terms of the money. This time they were just the message was just, well, we fixed it now, but no one's getting any money back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is kind of unusual. I don't know the full story, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't understand one word of their explanation for what people were doing. Manipulative ad buying practices that caused everyone to lose loads of money on their...
Actually, I just signed up for AdSense today. I've been using it in years. So I'm just learning about this now, but that sucks.
We picked a good topic where all the experts.
Yeah. 70% drop in the cost.
So Google isn't giving any reasons or anything at this point?
Not really. They're very vague. Let me scroll down a bit here.
So somebody was abusing the system, is what I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. So Barry's update is Google has confirmed the issue. Note that your CPCs will not be changing, meaning what Steve said, Google's not going to be reimbursing anybody for the outage or whatever happened. It was not a reporting glitch. It does seem that a group of rogue advertisers were able to game the system. Going forward, Google has blacklisted them, and their official statement is pretty much that.
I mean, that's what was pretty suspicious about it, is if they're rogue advertisers to the point where they got blacklisted, they must have been doing something pretty insane, because it was just say Vin's just signing in, he's going to be using it for the first time. If he just does some bids wrong or something and gets himself a really good deal somehow by mistake, they're not going to blacklist him instantly, are they? There's got to be something else going on there with what they did, and how huge the manipulation was for it to be. They can't say what it was, but some people got banned and no one's getting their money back. It must have been a pretty huge fraud, whatever it was. Maybe not.
They must have had no
gain.
choice other than to drop the payouts like that. And it had to be a system-wide hack or whatever it is. Click farm.
Yeah, it must have been huge to affect publishers across the board.
Yeah, you know, it makes you wonder if whoever these people are somehow got in the middle of, let's say Vin has a website and I click an AdSense link, they were able to hijack that traffic and send it somewhere else. So, I don't know, pretty goofy.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't understand it, so that's my take so far.
Yeah, very strange. But yeah, even stranger would be the recent flack that Neil Patel is catching for his seriously good guide on not using any security on your website because you just don't need it, according to him.
Yeah, I mean,
gosh.
Who needs to keep your visitors safe, right?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. I did a lot of work on my website, a few months ago, and I just put in an SSL certificate, and what I'm gathering from that, it's all about the trust. Everything comes down to trust, and I know that Neil has caught some flack on some of his content that he throws out there that I don't want to use the word spam, but I kind of am, because he puts a lot of it out there. A lot of it's really, really good stuff, but it's a lot of content, and be putting that much content, not having that there, that's really risky business.
I think all the good stuff's written by Brian Dean. Ghost written.
You know, most of Neil's between
Hi, Brian.
between QuickSprout and neilpatel.com, he puts out so much content. It's not believable that he's writing that all of it himself every single day. So you gotta imagine that it's ghostwritten. But for him to get up on camera and to say that kind of thing is pretty surprising, actually. I just looked it up. It looks like he took it down off of his website right now.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so for those of you that aren't familiar with what happened, he, I think I put the link to Troy Hunt's post about it in the chat here. Neil pretty much said that if you just have a website or anything, who cares about any type of security? It doesn't really matter. Basically said screw it. And then there were a few actual internet security experts that caught wind of this, and they have nothing to do with SEO. They just saw it, and then they found out Troy's big problem was that Neil Patel is an influencer to 1 million people, and he just told them the worst thing you can possibly do to your website, just really bad advice in general. And Troy did a nice big write-up and posted it on Neil's thing on Facebook and whatever, and said you guys should really reconsider. You can do whatever you want, but Neil started, whoever runs Neil's accounts, social media accounts, started deleting everything, and anyone that disagreed with him just got kicked out.
No.
Wow.
To play devil's advocate here, he was talking about the SSL certificate in relation to SEO and saying that he didn't get a boost from just having HTTPS. But there's indirect positives to having the SSL certificate, mainly user experience. You want to have that secure tag in your address bar, because that gives people peace of mind first and foremost. I'm sure
and from October they're going to have an actual like warning at the top now.
I read that in the article. That's crazy. I mean, who wants to go on a website and see "not secure" on there? So maybe there should have been a little bit more research into it before the video came out, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he can't blame his.
Well, there's a little bit of a.
What's that?
There's a little bit of a cautionary. There's a little bit of a cautionary tale there. Vin, you had talked about saying that Neil was an influencer. And there's been a lot of talk. I'm sure it's reached global now, that the whole influencer marketing phenomenon has caught a little bit of heat because of influencers not disclosing the relationship with the company that they're basically what I can't think of the word right now, who they're actually helping to promote.
Right.
And the FTC has gotten involved, and now they have to disclose what the relationship with the brand is. And also, I think that, there are influencers out there. It's kind of like a doctor, that an influencer says one thing, and I think it's up to us to get a second opinion and not just take everything that an influencer says at face value. I mean, there are some great influencers out there, and I'm not saying anything against any one influencer, but when it's something big like an SSL certificate, I think that sometimes we have to do a little bit of due diligence and actually research to find out what's right for us, because just because it's good for someone, like Bill was talking about, it might not be good for you.
I think case in point is recently that festival, the Fire Festival, when it was like a rapper / promoter put on this huge 3-day festival in I think it was the Bahamas, on this tiny island, and it was basically a bunch of snake oil. There was no preparation, there was no sleeping arrangements, there was no food. So all of these kids got to the Caribbean thinking they're going to enjoy this, I guess, luxury festival, music festival, and they got there and they were stranded for 3 days.
Wow.
You guys didn't hear about that?
No.
I did, actually. You're right.
What they were doing is they were getting models to hype up the festival on Instagram, and they were targeting wealthy millennials. And here, there's a Wikipedia page I'm going to put in the chat here. And long story short, they took kids for like millions of dollars, and basically people were passing out from heat stroke, and there's no food, and each of these kids, I think the minimum ticket was like $1,500.
Oh shit!
So that's the dark side of influencer marketing. So
sounds like some SEO conferences that get run.
Yeah.
You get there and there's just a bunch of staff from the agency that's running it, and no actual people that are good speakers. But I think there's a difference between, like an influencer, say a famous person tweets about the cola that he or she drinks or something. You know that they're a singer or something else. Or their opinion about soda is irrelevant. So if you're influenced by that, and whether they've disclosed it or not, it really doesn't matter. If you're influenced by that, it's your own fault. But I think when it's someone like Neil Patel who sells himself, and the basis of his influence is that he's an expert in SEO, he's helped the hugest brands become bigger online. When he then says, "Oh, this SSL stuff, don't bother with that," I think that's kind of a big deal. It's almost like a professional collegiate wrestler, endorsing Coca-Cola for better wrestling performance. It's someone who's in the space where they should be able to talk about that kind of thing, like diet and training for professional sports, endorsing something that's just a commercial product or something that's wrong. I think it's more dangerous when influencers stray and aren't clear about things that are actually supposed to be their expertise. And I think that's an area where the heat hasn't even started, because there's just some crazy stuff going on with people running conferences that are a joke, telling people not to have SSL certificates, which is a joke. I mean, there's just so much of it, and they don't know what they're talking about, but they stray so far off what they know, just to continue making more money and continue putting content out. And I think the heat that's on influencers hasn't even started when you start looking at that kind of stuff. And then,
right. You know what it is? It's just the regulators don't even know what's going on, so you can't really change something until you know the full scope of how crazy it is. That, the payoffs is really what's happening. People are getting their sponsorship money, and then they they go ahead and give the thumbs up for whatever program or service it is, and there's really no substance behind it.
Yeah.
I read about all of those programs. It's like the same people all promote each other's program.
Right.
It's like a big circle of fraud where once people get into that circle where they think X person is really clever, they kind of get Y person who's also trying to rip them off for another conference, another online course for $15,000. They get there on the podcast saying, "Oh, this guy, amazing! You've got to get his course too. He's going to teach you some stuff I can't even teach you." But they're getting half the money.
Right. Didn't that happen on the Warrior Forum a couple years back with Frank Kern? He had something called like the Syndicate, where they were all kind of boosting each other's services on the forum, and they got outed, and there was a whole big hoopla about that.
Yeah, and I think it just happens throughout all of these kind of products. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in the influencer space, where you can connect a product with someone who genuinely knows about it. Like if I was someone who sold, website security, I wouldn't pitch Neil Patel for a slot on his podcast about it. But if you got a slot with a real security expert, someone like the chap Marco that Garrett and I know, and you pitched him some kind of security product review or a SaaS, his expert opinion on that would actually be valuable to his audience, and it would be good for your brand to appear there. And I think so. There's huge opportunities there with things like that, but there's also huge risk and huge problems in the whole market which need to be cleaned up so that it can become more respectable. Because otherwise, it's just going to be like the Wild West, which no one wants to play in.
Right. I mean, if the influencer is giving a legitimate recommendation, then it's all good. But when it's kind of transparent that they were paid or they were influenced in some way to make the recommendation, that's when you get into the shady side of the whole business.
And that's why at the FTC got involved, because now all the influencers and I believe the brands that they're associated with, they have to publicly disclose what the relationship is.
Right. The FTC is doing something similar in the affiliate marketing space. So, one of the most popular content types if you're promoting an affiliate offer would be to do a review of the product you want to promote. The FTC is now cracking down, and they want a disclaimer on every page. If you're using an affiliate link on that page, it has to say, this page contains affiliate links. We might be compensated if you click any of the links on this page and decide to purchase a product. So, they're getting wise, but I think there's a lot more going on than they actually know about.
Yeah, for sure. This is a pretty good transition point for the next big topic of the day. Something that kind of really annoyed me yesterday. I've been looking for a new set of computer speakers, and like everybody else, I did a Google search for best computer speakers. And the quality, I was talking to Steve about this, the quality of SERPs lately seems to have dramatically diminished. Like on the screen here, I looked through about the top 20. The first result, affiliate site. Second result, affiliate site. Third result, affiliate site. All the way through 20, 1 through 20, all affiliate sites. None of them actually had good reviews. None of them had tried the speakers. None of them had anything good to say about them. They literally just pretty much copy-pasted the manufacturer review and maybe changed the wording a bit and put an Amazon link on it and called it good. And it's frustrating when, I mean, I have a set of Harman Kardon speakers that are still good, but I'd like to get, they're 15 years old. I would just like to get a new set. I don't know should I just get a new set of the Harman Kardon sound sticks that are out for $200, or do I need to find like a specialized computer forum for speakers? Frustrating.
I feel your pain, buddy. I usually go to YouTube when I run into search like that.
Yeah.
Because you'll see people doing the live comparisons of different versions or different models of the product.
Okay. Cool.
But I know what you mean, man. It's the home appliance and home good affiliate websites that are all over the web right now is kind of like the evolution of the old made for AdSense website.
Yeah.
You know, it's very little SEO technical knowledge and experience, and they're just kind of following a blueprint.
Yep.
And you're left with all these websites that kind of look cookie cutter and pretty much have no value. But
you can buy one off the shelf for $1,500 and then just start promoting it.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's insane.
So, you know, it depends on what side of the site you're on. If you're the site owner, it's great for you that it's that easy to, you know, rank for, you know, if you find a keyword that nobody's targeting, it's pretty easy to get to the first page. But if you're the end user and you're looking for some good user experience and you're looking for a transparent review on a product, you're kind of left empty-handed.
Yeah, and I ran into the exact same thing Garrett did. I was looking at the just the various Kindle Fire tablets, trying to decide between the smaller 7-inch, because I'd had a 7-inch tablet before and I really liked it. You know, it fitted in his jacket pocket and all that kind of stuff. But obviously the 8-inch, the spec is like everything's double, and all the reviews, you know, Amazon 8-inch versus 7-inch versus 10-inch, they were just the spec explained with, yeah, whatever, pick which one you like, here's my 3 Amazon links.
Yeah.
So I was none the further forward after trying any of them. You know, the only thing I could really do was a few of the really serious tech sites had individually reviewed them really well, and then you just try and make your mind up from them. But there was no, all the X versus Y versus Z SERPs were just dominated by quick hatchet jobs to rank for that keyword. No useful information at all. And I think there's more prevalence of it. I feel like, if anything, it's become easier for that kind of content to rank than before. And
yeah, that's what's most disappointing. Like, I just don't know how to put it into words. Like,
yeah. You know what, though? I kind of feel like those useless review sites are kind of phasing out a little bit, because some of the bigger guys are getting pretty savvy, and they realize that they have to put real value into their content. You know, I'll shout out one of the websites, Sleepopolis, for mattresses. They do
they're good.
Reviews.
Yep.
Guy's awesome. He does video content. He's got, you know, it's everything that you would possibly want to know to buy a new mattress, and for all different types of, you know, sleepers, you know, side sleepers, back sleepers, what have you. And that's a real deal review site. That's an affiliate. You know, he makes his money on the affiliate offers, but he's providing real value to the business.
Yeah, you know, if I would have found a site like that, maybe there's just not a site like that for speakers, but yeah, the guy from Sleepopolis, when we bought this new mattress we had, great review. That's the whole reason I bought the one we have. But
I think the problem Google's got is there's no easy way for it to tell from the copy that's just on the page, have they tried the product? Whereas to a human at the minute, there's an immediate sense of that when you read the article. The AI or the machine learning or whatever you want to call it just isn't at the level where it can tell, yeah, this person hasn't used this product ever. It's just not possible at the minute for them to tell. So other signals have to take over. But of course, if you start saying about the other signals they use, it's links. Once you know, basically there's 3 things. There's technical SEO, which they all do kind of similarly, you know, they either do it properly or not. There's the content on the page, and then there's links. Everything else is just kind of minor factors. You know, it's 200 random things that all merge together. But if the words on the page are written in a fairly decent, optimized way, it's written in a good standard of English, it's really hard for Google to differentiate the site that's marketed itself really well, that's terrible, from the site that's amazing and has the same amount of coverage naturally.
Right.
And it's going to take a big step up, I think, in ability to understand the words on the page from Google to really get past that, because none of their other signals really solve the problem by themselves.
I have a feeling that they're going to move towards more weighting user experience signals heavier than they are now. But, you know, I think that...
I hope so.
I think that SEOs are just waiting for that to happen, because they can that's much easier to game, time on site or bounce rate or anything like that than it is, contextual links from a powerful website.
But I don't know that SEOs are waiting. I think most professional SEOs engage heavily with UX and everything like that. I think these sites aren't run by or managed by professional SEOs. They're mostly opportunists that have found a clever way of exploiting the system, which is fair play to them. But I wouldn't.
That's a good point too. I mean, there may be even a void in people that even understand that there's a need for this kind of review website. Those SEOs that are exploiting the algorithm, they're just there to make money. But then in between them and the big brands, there's really nothing. And the big brands themselves aren't putting out this review content. So, we need more guys that understand SEO on a technical level and are also interested in providing value to the end user, which I think that's kind of where Google is trying to take it, but there's probably several steps between where we are now and where we need to be.
Yep, definitely.
I'd agree with that for sure. I mean, I think one of the biggest challenges, I'm just trying to find an example, but I think one of the biggest challenges is with all of these things, Google has, I'm trying to think the best way to word it. Not that long ago, affiliate sites were all moaning. Like whenever you looked in a Black Hat forum, affiliate site after affiliate site was moaning that they weren't getting to rank, they weren't able to rank. Since these Amazon sites came along, it's almost as if the Amazon affiliate links aren't weighted the same way as if you were just on random, like ClickJunction and all the other networks that existed before. It's almost as if because Amazon's a more reputable site, the affiliates promoting it get a little bit more of a free pass than when they just had other links in there promoting other things directly. So you see a lot more of the made for Amazon ads sites doing well than you saw just affiliate sites before. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from. I had a question for Sue, if that's okay.
Sure.
Just because obviously you do the UX stuff day in, day out with big brands and stuff. Have you seen any cases where just a huge, without in a kind of vacuum, like it was one of the first things you did because the brand had some big UX problems, you solved those and you saw results in search on the back of making big UX improvements?
So, repeat your question.
Okay, so you started working with a brand, and they obviously had UX problems, like customer flow wasn't good, there were problems, and then, just all the usual problems that people would have. And so that was the first thing that was done before other SEO issues were tackled and stuff. Has there been a case where you've seen big improvements to UX like that, resulting in a big improvement in inbound search performance for the site and for the business?
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that's really helped user experience, customer experience, is in the whole journey map. I'm sure you guys have heard of customer journey map. But basically, a buyer comes in and they have a journey. They'll be aware of a product, and then they'll go to interest, and then they'll go to desire. They'll buy it, and then they'll retain the product and be loyal and advocacy and all those different customer touch points. What I've seen is a very interesting combination of communicating with the customer along their journey to understand what their needs are and deliver them, and using such things as content to fill in the gaps. And SEO is a very key component of that. I've done a lot of research lately on how content and SEO really connect and can actually move customers quicker down the path to purchase and down the path to loyalty and, in fact, becoming a lifetime customer. And I know the whole SEO content connection is quite new. it's interesting from a content creator marketer standpoint that they're finally getting the message. Oh, SEO content, there is a connection. You know, I don't know who it was, if it was Einstein or one of these scientists who said we're connected. Everything is connected. It's all about energy. And I would say the same thing here. It's where you're putting your energies, and finding that unmet need for the customer, combining it with a piece of content that's going to resonate with them, and give them something to take action on, and then using SEO to drive that conversation and also bring in new people in the process. I found that is just a huge tool that organizations, brands, what have you, really need to leverage to move their customer experience. Customer experience is all interrelated. It starts from before you even meet the customer to the acquisition piece, to the post-purchase piece. It's a cycle. It's one cycle. And if you can connect that cycle together, so you're getting customer input, so that you can make it more valuable for them, you're going to grow. I mean, it's all about value. And quite frankly, SEO plays a really big piece in that value.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You back there?
Yeah, yep.
Gotcha.
Still here. I just want to make the screen bigger while Steve and Sue have the conversation. They're the focal points, so. Still around, yeah.
I think it disappeared from YouTube for a sec there, but you're back.
Oh. Always.
I haven't been able to see Garrett the whole call, so I'm
one of these days we'll get through one of these without the technical difficulties. But I think
when you fire 4 people together and then try and broadcast it live on YouTube from Skype, it's all it's like the whole Google Microsoft thing going on.
Probably.
We've been getting better every week, though, so great.
Yeah, a year from now we'll have it all figured out.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant. I tell you, you see the big name people that do this stuff, they still have all kinds of problems on like all of their shows.
Yeah. You know, it's something that just kind of pops in my head today about a whole user experience and just, I saw in the news Applebee's is going to be shutting down like 200 stores nationwide. And when I think of Applebee's, I mean, it's a chain restaurant. You don't go there expecting the best food ever, but you also don't expect like the worst food ever. You know, just go out and spend your $20 on dinner and a drink or something. And why do you I guess now, so off the top of my head, how do you like put that into words that they're missing something? Because you're always seeing commercials on TV for them, and even hearing them on the radio. And what is like a chain restaurant like that missing in a user experience, do you think, Sue? That they're struggling so hard to get families in for like a $10 a plate dinner or something.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and maybe it's where I'm living in California. There are a couple of Applebee's near me, but I found that a lot of the Applebee's, like when I was back in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago, and I saw more Applebee's there. So it could be a regional thing. I haven't seen the commercials, and I don't know what they're doing digitally, or
neither do I,
or mobily on a mobile basis. But you bring an interesting point up. I think from a customer user experience perspective, there's a gap in what we call digital CX. So CX is the acronym for customer experience. And I think the problem with digital CX is there's your omni-channel. I'm sure you have heard that word, omni-channel, where regardless of which channel you're going through, email, social, going into the brick and mortar, or or a variety of other channels, basically there's no wall. You go from one thing to the next, and it's the same consistent experience. Then there's multi-channel, where you have email, social, mobile, but you can tell going from one channel to the next. It's almost like it's fragmented. That you can tell that you're not getting the exact experience that you're getting mobile, that you would via email or social. And I think that is a big problem right now with digital customer experience, that it's not omni-channel. It's more multi-channel, trying to disguise itself as omni-channel, but omni-channel is you go from one thing to the next. It's almost like there are no walls. It might be different platforms, but it's the same experience. Right. And I think... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just on that point, because Gary Vaynerchuk, I know he always talks about when you do content, even not just between social and email, he talks about just between different social platforms. In his opinion, it's really important to be native to that platform and provide content that's really unique in style and the way you design it just for that platform. Am I misunderstanding what he's saying, or do you feel like he's wrong in the long term with that view?
Well, it's interesting. A few years back, and I believe that they had a point, that I was always told, don't connect your Facebook to your Twitter. Like if you have something, if you're using Twitter, don't just put the content that you have on Facebook onto Twitter, because the audience could be different.
Sure.
Now, just because the audience is different doesn't necessarily mean that the look and feel, the experience should be different. For instance, you put something on Twitter, it could be totally different than you use on LinkedIn or Facebook, but it should still be the same voice that you'd use, same look and feel that you'd use, because otherwise I believe that causes confusion. And a confused potential buyer is going to result in a lost potential sale. So I think that you could still have that omni-channel experience, but having different things. A good example is Sephora. I know you guys probably don't go shopping at Sephora every day and all that stuff, but
I don't even know what Sephora is.
Okay, Sephora. You're from Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Are you in Minneapolis?
Yeah, pretty much. I lived there for a few years. I'm about an hour west. Never heard of it.
I was going to say, don't you have the great mall in Minneapolis, the huge mall?
Yeah, the Mall of America.
Well, Sephora is in many malls, and it sells a lot of cosmetics. I have seen men in there, by the way. Okay. So it's not a women-only thing. Sure. They sell skincare, makeup, makeup brushes, and this, that, and the other. But they also have a very strong mobile play. They have a strong website play. I know when I go to Sephora, whether it's mobile, in-store, email, social, I'm getting the same feel. I'm getting the same experience because they're connecting one to the other. It's not being fragmented. So I don't think you have to have the same content per se on different channels. It just needs to tie into your brand promise. What's your value proposition? What kind of value are you providing to the customer?
Just back to the basics.
Right. And it needs to be consistent. But it's interesting that you said back to the basics. That's an issue with customer experience right now. I read a lot of content from people, we got to wow our customers. Really? You don't have to wow your customers. Give them what they need and want.
Right, I agree with you 1,000%. Like, we've been buying a lot of stuff for the house lately and for the baby, and dealing with customer service and the way these brands that we're buying stuff from, like, like, I kind of know what I want in some regard. If they would just give me what I want, I'd be way happier than all that effort they go out to try to hook you and all this junk is, I don't. Yeah, I disagree, I guess.
I remember when you said before, Garrett, why do people make it so hard for me to just give them my money?
Right. Yeah.
I want to just give these people money, but first I've got to like sign up to download their white paper before I can even schedule a sales call and things like that. Yep. It's like, I'm on your site. I just want to give you some money now. Mm-hmm. I want X. Give it to me, please.
Oh, don't get me started with what I term gated content. That is frustrating to me. I go to a website, and if I'm new to that website, I should have the opportunity to look at your content, find out if you're trustworthy and all before I hand over my contact information. And that's not the worst part. I mean, okay, if I want to give you my information for ebook, white paper, it should stop there. It doesn't mean just because I took your white paper that I should get on your email list. I should get calls from sales. Hey, do you have a quick 5 minutes we can chat? I mean, that is, to me, desperation from an organization, and also clearly their sales team and their marketing teams aren't aligned and understand what a true lead is and how to do lead generation and nurturing.
It's funny you say that, actually. We had loads of people that have signed up to all kinds of things to do with my brand in the past. And the first thing, and I hadn't emailed some of them for ages, and the first thing I did when we knew we were going to be sharing a lot more content is we sent them out an email saying, hey, I really appreciate you signing up for all this stuff before. None of it's coming out to you anymore because it's old stuff you signed up for and you finished. Here's the unsubscribe link if you don't want to hear from me again. Here's what's coming if you don't click the link. You guys just make the decision. And obviously people who didn't even open it, I'm just being removed from the list completely automatically. And then the people who did open it made the choice whether they want to receive this new stuff again, because like you say, some of these people just signed up to download an ebook from me 6 months ago or something. They've had the book. I'm not just going to start sending them, oh, here's my new video cast.
Well, you know what? I think you're in the minority.
But I think they'll be more engaged now, though. I mean, the people who chose to opt in want to receive this video cast now this week, because last week when I asked them, do you want to receive my video cast next week, they either click yes or no. You know, I don't think you get much value out of the ones you bombard. Because I mean, look how annoyed you are about it. People doing that to you. I mean, I don't want to be doing things that are annoying a bunch of people.
Well, what you're doing is actually, it has two very important steps. One, you're building an experience. You're asking people what they think as opposed to assuming. So you're building that experience. Second, I know you guys have heard of double opt-in email back from the 90s. I mean, I seriously think that there are people out there that believe that social media, if you're connected on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, that you're basically, oh, we're connected, so I don't have to ask for your permission. No, you still have to ask for permission. And those that don't and just assume, where is the trust? They've basically lost me as a trustworthy source.
I think on social, you've got to be social. Like with people you're connected with on LinkedIn, I would never dream of going on and just saying, hey, I've got this new service, check it out, and hitting them with a link. But you can ask people you respect that you're connected with, hey, I've got this new service, can I get your opinion on it? What can I improve?
Oh, absolutely.
Can we sit down for, and I think if you're social about it, you can message people respectfully and take advantage of your network. Or you can be that annoying person that connects with you and then immediately hits you with their sales offer. And I actually replied to some of those people because I'm thinking, well, they're trying. They're not doing a very good job, but they're trying. So maybe they're struggling. Maybe we can sit down for a coffee. Maybe we can come up with some ideas how we can help each other out. They never replied to that reply because I haven't done what they wanted. They just want to spam 1,000 people that they've connected to. 10% click, 1% buy. They got no interest in, oh, what are you talking to me about? We could talk about doing some real marketing over coffee. Get lost. I'm going to send out another 1,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
It depresses me, and they're not marketers. And some companies hired them to do this job, and they don't have a clue what they're doing, and it's depressing to me.
Yeah. I guess that kind of works into something Steve wanted to talk about today was, just the quality of the digital environment as a whole, but what about the news quality that we see every day? I mean, we've all heard of the whole fake news probably in the last year that's gaining a lot of attention, but a lot of other stuff going on, even with the real news, how it's portrayed, and we're not trying to get really political here, just the way things are happening. I think Steve would like to expand on that a bit.
Yeah, I think it transcends politics because it's really got nothing to do with, I mean, the most popular stories at the minute, because of how charged the atmosphere is in the US, has become about politics, but I think the problems started before politics and it will continue long after the current heat's died down. In the past, you used to have great journalists, people like John Pilger, who would spend 3 months preparing a documentary, researching, visiting countries. Again, we're going to avoid the politics of talking about specifically what he was investigating, but telling stories from parts of the world where the truth is very rarely told about them, and investigating it properly, and then come back, and millions of people would tune in on regular television to hear these great stories and deep, well-researched truth. Now we've entered a world where, and again, there's no point talking about whether it was right or wrong, because it's become such a crazy charged issue in the tech world at the minute, but some guy at Google wrote a memo, got fired for it. We can agree on those undisputed facts. Why is it okay now for the media to report on it without even reading the memo? So regardless of whether what they say is true or not, whether they're right, whether he is a sexist, whatever, it doesn't even matter. Why is it gone from, they would spend all of that time putting a real story together? It's unthinkable 20 years ago that a major national newspaper would not have interviewed the subject of a hit piece about them. Now it's they don't even have to interview the person. They can just collate a bunch of tweets, not even read the source, and say whatever they want. And a lot of it's driven by, I think, the algorithms and the money, because if you write the real news, you don't get clicks. If you actually write the truth, and Facebook's designed, for example, to only show you the news that you agree with, because they want more clicks, they want more engagement. If they show you news you disagree with, you don't click on it, you don't engage with it. So if you're a far-right conservative, you just get, I don't know, I'm not American, so I'm Breitbart or something. Is that right? Is that one that should be on that list? If you're on the left, you get the New York Times or whatever. I can do it for the UK. The Tory graph on one side and the Guardian on the other. And you get the news that you want to see, because that's the people that you follow. And I think it's so it pushes the publishers. So if you're a left-leaning publication, but you normally, in the past, you would have aired more balanced articles about certain topics. Now you're noticing that your competitors, who are just being absolutely hard left, or on the other side, your competitors who are being absolutely hard right, they're getting more engagement, so they're getting more views into articles, they're making more money, they're being more successful. So there's pressure even within the groups, not just to write stuff that appeals to your people, but to write stuff that is more extremely appealing to them than even your competitors on the same team as you are doing. So I think a combination of reduced money in the press, the way news is filtered now, makes it virtually impossible to run a fair and balanced news business. And I think it's quite depressing. I would love to hear what you guys all think.
Well, it is depressing, actually. And it's been interesting how Facebook has gotten caught up in this fake news, and it's interesting. It was a big thing, then it wasn't a big thing. Facebook came out, and what did they come out and say? That they weren't doing it, but they were doing more policing. I guess this whole thing is very interesting because, well, while not divulging my age, I will say that I grew up with Walter Cronkite, and I could just see him rolling over in his grave about some of the things that are going on. Do you guys, are you familiar with Stephen Glass? Do you remember Stephen Glass? There was a movie done about him. I believe he wrote for New Republic, and he was lauded by the editors on his wonderful journalism, investigative journalism. A story broke that basically all the features that he wrote were BS. They were made up. They never happened, and it was a big deal when the story broke. But it's interesting now, and I don't want to wax political either. That you can spend.
Well, you can because you're the guest, so you can.
Well, I know, but I was taught never talk about religion and politics. Even though some of my Facebook friends...
we definitely won't do religion on this show.
Well, I was going to say on the politics, some of my Facebook friends kind of crossed the line there with all this stuff that happened back in November. But, I mean, CNN has, and MSNBC have caught a lot of heat. I think CNN especially on fake news. Fake news, CNN's response is, well, you're going to call it fake news because every time you don't agree with our story, blah, blah, blah. And that's wrong, and it's not fair. And
right.
Actually, any journalist who writes a story better be prepared to defend the story.
Absolutely, yeah.
I agree.
And bringing this kind of back to the marketing world, I remember reading a book called Trust Me, I'm Lying. Have you guys read that?
Not yet.
I've heard of it, but I love the title.
Yeah.
It's about a PR guy, and his name escapes me now. I'm sure the guys in the chat can remind me. But basically, he goes into...
How many people have we got in the chat, by the way?
It's just it's all of our buds. I think we got like 5 or 6 people in there.
I got your crew along again.
But Trust Me, I'm Lying is about a PR guy revealing his tactics for promoting whatever client he was promoting at the time, using a lot of kind of guerrilla marketing methods to get his point across. So something that really stuck out to me was how he would seed information to the big blogs like Politico and
sure.
Whatever have you, and it really brought to light that the old phrase that any news is good news or bad news is good news. Because the results he got for pennies on the dollar were absolutely amazing, and I think he was the one that kind of made that or brought the movie I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell to light. Based
Really?
On his guerrilla marketing tactics, he spray painted a billboard with some anti slogan for the movie, just to get it in the news, and the fact that it got in the news actually drove ticket sales up, however percentage points.
Yeah.
So it's really amazing in the digital age what you can do just with an email account, and nobody's really going to vet that information.
Yeah,
well, there's the whole Reddit situation, isn't there, where everyone's always talking about how easy it is to gain Reddit. And I don't know if you guys all saw the story where some not even real political candidate, I guess, I don't think he ever ran for anything, made up that campaign in California where he wanted all the politicians to wear NASCAR-style stickers all over their suits with who sponsored them, with all of their corporate supporters or whatever on. So there was just a bunch of pictures of politicians with their suits with all these logos on, and that got masses of news coverage and everything. And then the PR agency, I don't know if they were joking or if this was some kind of level, and I just don't get it. They published about how they cheated, how cheap it was, how they got $1 million for this campaign, and they spent $500 on Reddit spam. I don't know if there's something going on there that I just don't understand, but if you pull off that, you don't ever talk about it again.
Well, Reddit is just super weird. It's just, I know Reddit has grown phenomenally in the last few years, but it's still a large base. I don't want to use the word gullible, but I don't know. It's just, it almost is. If you see something, like, you're following only the things you want to follow through the subreddits that you're subscribed to, and I think people tend to just don't even question. It's just so easy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like with the two main kind of politics channels that are always getting the most heat at the minute. Like Our Politics is extremely left leaning. Obviously, the Donald, which way that one leads. And people that are in them, they're not getting exposed to anything.
Right.
They're just getting their own message over and over again, and things that disagreed with are downvoted. And in that kind of echo chamber, manipulation's actually easier, because if you post something they want to believe, then they want to believe it, and they upvote it.
And then they see that someone's already justified their own claim in their head, and
I mean, some of the claims by just to stay on the kind of Reddit and politics, some of the claims on both sides are ludicrous, but they ended up just becoming perpetuated in the echo chamber. You can talk to real people on both sides of the debate that believe absolutely insane things, and they're not alone.
That's true.
But the place of if CNN, I think, wants themselves to be left-wing press at the minute, the place of left-wing press isn't to try and be at the top of Reddit when they publish an article, or to get the most likes on Facebook. It's to write coherently and logically their position in a way that you can defend with evidence. And I don't know how much that's happening at the minute. I think they want those likes and clicks and traffic only because it's the only way they can make money now. And I think we need a better way to fund journalism. And people have said, maybe subscriptions and donations. I suspect the people that would get the most donations are people who have the most insane views.
Probably.
Look at online marketing. Who are the richest online marketers? Are they someone who's on the board at a big company, is the senior marketing director on $500,000 a year, or are they the internet marketing scammer who does $3 million every launch they do on one of their dodgy products?
Right.
The money flows to the craziest idea.
Usually.
If you go through. I mean, obviously the New York Times is an exception. They're the only newspaper in the world that's making subscription model work, writing long form content and stuff. At the other extreme, I guess you've got the Daily Mail in the UK, which is one of the world's most read newspapers, through doing very smart clickbait and having a whole sidebar filled with even more clickbait to make sure you read some more stuff on their site before you go anywhere. But there's very few examples of anyone doing really quality stuff and making enough money from it.
That is true.
You can make the argument that all journalism is just becoming a social task at this point. I mean, I don't know the last time that I really, it starts on the social sites and then you dig into what interests you.
Yeah.
But that's a whole other conversation.
Well, I mean, it's telling that John Pilger's last documentary, he's someone who's consistently was viewed by millions of people every time he put a documentary out in the UK. None of the major TV channels would fund him this time. He had to go to crowdfunding to make his latest documentary, so he probably didn't even hardly made a profit on it, whereas previously he would have been paid a fortune plus funded to do the documentary. I think that's how news has changed. It's not even that they want to report things that get more clicks. They have to, because of the economics, also report the things that get the most clicks in the cheapest way possible.
Yeah.
Which isn't a recipe for. I mean, obviously the whole hashtag fake news thing's a bit overblown now. Everything a journalist says ever isn't automatically like a lie, but
right.
But
well,
it's poorly researched opinion pieces fluffed up as if they were news.
Yeah, and I think the mass audience are wise to their game now, which is even further driving down the readerships even more, because when you get
dangerous now. Yeah.
Right, when you get my mom saying, "Oh, that's fake news," or they're promoting something, that should be a signal that the game's over.
Yeah, absolutely. Wrapping everything up, do you guys have any closing comments on everything we discussed so far? Should we move on?
That was good.
Okay, cool.
We can move on.
All right. The next segment would be, Sue, do you have a choice of a charity donation for this evening?
Well, I've had Princess Diana on my mind a lot lately.
Okay.
We're coming up to her 20th death anniversary. You never want to celebrate somebody's death, but it's interesting. I remember exactly where I was when I heard the news, and so I would like my donation to go to what Princes William and Harry are their new charity called Heads Together for mental health. They're following in their mother's footsteps.
Okay,
and
great.
Really taking charities and helping others by storm.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic.
Good choice.
I'm throwing that in the chat in case anybody else in the chat room wants to donate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Sarah, you can take care of ours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, right on. That's great.
No, it's a good choice. I think mental health as well is something that is starting to get taken more seriously now. I think people used to brush it under the carpet. And I think, it's actually interesting, a lot of founders, a lot of startup founders, and I know we gave Rand a little bit of stick last week, just on a general little joke about how Moz was doing. But one of the things I really respect Rand for is that he's been bold enough to talk about some of the mental health issues and challenges he's faced going through the hell that is a loss-making startup. Desperate for the next round all the time, desperate to hit metrics that you're missing, the feelings that you have when business isn't going well. And I think, all of us in business, and probably loads of people who are going to watch this podcast, have been through all kinds of challenges trying to grow their businesses. I wasn't always as cheerful as I have been the last couple of years, and I think it's good that people like Rand, who are a big figure in the industry and people would have generally regarded as being very successful, is able to talk about that kind of stuff and encourage other people to come out and talk about it as well in the startup world, because when so many young people are committing suicide because they've had a failed startup and things like that, it's, I think I saw that 6 of the 10 richest people in the UK were bankrupt before 30 or something in the rich list a few years ago.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Wow.
You can bounce back from failure, and to let failure drag you down like that's horrific. And it's only by people talking out when they've struggled that people can see hope and see other people who have shared the journey. And obviously, that's a good use of influence. So for the little jab we had at him last week for his bad use of influence, sometimes we give one back to Rand for what I think is really good use of influence with that kind of story and that kind of experience.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I'll put her up on the screen again quick. If any of the viewers are able to, we invite you to join us. And 3 of us each do a $20 donation, but I'm sure any amount helps. Moving on, I guess we have our weekly reviews. Who would like to go first?
Go for it, buddy.
Yours. I don't know what it is.
Okay. So what I'm going to be reviewing is Plain Tags. Let me get her pulled up really quick. Basically what they do is they buy sections of decommissioned aircraft. Probably not very huge pieces, maybe like a 20-foot by 20-foot section of the monocoque, the skin of the actual airplane. And what they do is they make baggage tags out of them. So let's see what they have in stock right now. If you want part of a B-1B bomber, you can get one for $125. Or an F-86, they have like a 737 there. B-52, a 777, 200 ER. All sorts of cool stuff. I think they have Airbus on there eventually. Yep, they got A320. All sorts of all sorts of cool stuff. If you're into airplanes and want a little cool thing for your piece of luggage or whatever.
There you went.
I hope that doesn't mean the live stream has cut off at the.
No, let me check.
Oh, we're still going. I think the other.
No, live stream's still up.
The second webcam is having an issue.
Oh, wow.
I'm still here though.
On that, but just not on our screen.
Yeah, running 2 webcams today.
Yeah, you know there's a delay, so
yeah,
it may cut off any second. Oh no, Jared said that he's on there. We're just not seeing him.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
That's
yeah, it's weird. I have to run 2 webcams between the Skype session.
So Steve, why don't we? I don't know. You want to move on to yours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I totally failed this week because I was going to review the SERPWoo API, but I didn't have time at the weekend because it only just came out last week to get some code written so that I could review it properly. But I'm going to review SERPWoo anyway because I still speak to people in the SEO industry that haven't tried SERPWoo. It's serpwoo.com. I'm sure Ben's used it as well, being part of the same community over at Builder Society. SERPWoo is really like, it's taken rank tracking and analyzing your competitors in the search results to a whole different level. It's a different class from all the other products out there. I mean, I'm sure the API is great, and I will circle back in a few episodes' time on a Thursday to review the API, but it lets you just, you can take a site that you're trying to rank. If it's a site that has multiple geolocations, you can set up a tracking with a specific coordinates where you want to see the search results from. So the days when you had to show your local clients in the SEO world, you know, like Bedbugs Boston or something, and you had to put Bedbugs Boston in, and that was the best guess you could do at how well they were doing in the maps. It actually tracks the maps results from those geo coordinates for just bedbugs. So you can tell you can see when your client pops into the map actually for bedbugs. I'm lucky enough that I get to travel quite a bit. I've met most of my clients, and I've been able to grab my cell phone out on my on the American network, type it in, just bedbugs or whatever they're selling, and see that SERPWoo is right, and it's actually tracking that data super accurately across all those locations. But that's the boring part. The cool part is once you put a keyword into SERPWoo, you're not just tracking where your site's ranking up and down over time. All the top 100 listings are right in there and where they've gone over time. So if someone starts making some moves up, you can follow them. You can see where all of your competitors have gone. You can see new movers. If you're someone doing what Rand called barnacle SEO, what most of the rest of us call parasite SEO, and you're looking for places where you can publish content where it'll get exposure, you can see the sites that are popping up where people are getting content exposure on. To give you the old, it used to be like Medium, LinkedIn, Squidoo, Lenses. The next one of those platforms that's going to have search exposure as a place where you should publish because you'll get your rank when you publish there. You can see those exploding up the rankings for your keywords before anyone else sees them if you're tracking it on SERPWoo and they're using a regular rank tracker and just looking at the first page. You've already published your post when they see the first competitor pop onto their rankings looking manually. So it gives you so much more power to track how you're doing, how your competitors are doing.
He's back.
Welcome back. So yeah, SERPWoo.com is insanely powerful. I don't know how they do all of that for the same price as people charge you just to track your own keywords. I guess the team over there have got some really sick back-end and stuff to keep it that cheap and cloud themselves, and they've done a lot of investment in it. But there's no other rank tracking software out there that's even close.
Cool.
Right.
How about you, Sue?
Well, since you guys are all digital 24/7.
That is true.
We have another guest host.
We do. I think he ran up the stairs though.
Oh, was that cute creature on your lap?
Yes. Yep.
So I want to talk about a couple of digital productivity tools that I absolutely love.
Sure.
One is called QU. I think that's how you pronounce it. The website is QUUU.co. It's actually, I didn't realize it was a UK-based company, and somebody had mentioned it to me. I'm sorry?
I didn't know that either when you told me. I was surprised.
Well, I had no knowledge of this until a couple of months ago. We were talking, I was on some type of chat or some type of community. We were talking about social tools, and what I love about this, it is a content curation tool that you can, I believe the free version, you can connect to social media accounts, and they will curate content, send content to those sites. In my situation, I have 2 Twitter accounts. I have my personal account, and I have the M4 account, and I can't always make it to M4. So it's nice, twice a day on the free plan, they're curating content for me, and it's really good content. You get to select the hashtags of the different content. So if you're focusing on your brand, somebody's personal brand, and you have specific focuses on your personal brand, it's perfect. They have a free and paid plans. Great tool. I've been getting some great results from it. The second tool is, you guys might know this one, Feedly, FEEDLY.com. I use it. It's basically, you can select feeds. I go to Feedly because I'm trying to desperately clean out my email box. So, for instance, I will send feeds to Feedly. I get to look at the content on my time, when, however much I want to look at, when, and all that stuff. So it's not floating through my email, because right now I'm really focused on getting my inbox to the bare necessities.
Absolutely.
They also
zero.
Yeah, exactly.
Inbox 0 time.
Well, I don't know if I'll ever be 0, but there was a time that I had over 20,000 emails in my box, and
Ooh, wow.
I know.
Wow.
way too
I think
much.
I would take a hammer to my computer if I ever email after this. But I can solve this.
So Feedly also has free and paid plans, but those 2 things have really saved my life this year.
Right on.
So it's kind of like a modern take on the old Google Reader, I guess.
Right.
Exactly.
It's an RSS reader. I use it also. It's funny, I actually use Q.co. I've been using that for about a year now, and I love it. I use it for a few of my websites, including Word Agents, and it grows your Twitter following very fast, because the curated content is actually, it's good stuff. There's somebody behind that actually picking the articles that they're going to share, and they're in each. I think they call them buckets. The industry that you're curating in, they have an expert for each bucket. So you're getting a firsthand. You're getting curated content from somebody that actually knows the industry, rather than some intern or something that's just grabbing the newest posts for the day. So Q has definitely been a good addition to my many tools that I use every month.
Nice.
But I guess it's my turn now. I was going to review, or I am going to review, the SERPstat.com. SERPstat's a all-in-one SEO platform. It's very similar to Ahrefs. And I picked it up on a Black Friday deal. I got a lifetime subscription. It was like $20, so I figured why not. And it's pretty much all the kind of features you would expect from a tool like this. Website audits, keyword research, backlink analysis, and they're the new guys on the block, but they do have a few cool features that aren't on other tools. Specifically in keyword research, they're now doing what they call keyword clusters. So you're able to enter a seed keyword in there, and it'll generate a keyword cluster for you, which is basically all the keywords that are most relevant around your target keyword. So for a content-focused guy like me, I'm always looking to create the most relevant content to help me rank on the search engines. So having or being able to know what keywords I should also include in my content in addition to the target keyword, it's actually pretty powerful. Something that I was doing manually before, but with the keyword cluster tool on SearchStat, it's a good starting point. So I'm pretty much just using SearchStat and Ahrefs these days, and it's more than enough for my research needs.
Nice. Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
Cool.
Cool. I guess all that's really left is our weekly predictions. I'm still waiting for that market correction from last week, so
you gotta do a new one.
Okay. Well, here where I live in Minnesota, it is the Carver County Fair, and it always rains every day during the fair. So I bet it's going to rain tomorrow. That's my prediction.
I didn't come up with much of a prediction this week, but I'm predicting that my fiance Erin is going to make me cut the grass for the first time at her new house this weekend. Go. So I'm almost positive that's coming either later tonight or tomorrow.
We'll have fun.
Yeah.
How about you, Sue?
So I'm supposed to make some type of prediction?
Yeah, anything.
It should be internet marketing related. Don't listen to these guys.
No, it can be anything.
What I was going to say,
no. You guys just didn't bother thinking of that.
It's been on the brain, and my prediction is that the Steelers are going to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Sue. The New York Giants are going to the Super Bowl this year. But
the Steelers can play the Giants. I don't care.
There we go.
A prediction is a prediction. We'll see.
Steve, what do you got?
I need to think of a non-marketing one now.
We didn't do marketing last week.
I can't remember what I did last week. Well, I mean, I guess since we're doing football, my prediction is that sorry, Gary, the New York Jets are not going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, did you say Jets? I thought you said Giants.
No. Gary
Vaynerchuk's
a big Jets fan, isn't he? So sorry, Gary, the Jets are not going to the Super Bowl, and after you buy them, they're still not going to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, you heard it first here. We're going to see the Steelers.
I'm going to put a 10-year window on that, though. I mean, they might get to be a good team sometime in the next decade or something, but for the next 10 years, there will be no New York Jets in the Super Bowl.
Okay.
You can take that one to the bank.
All right, well, that's it for this week's show. Don't forget to tune in next week for more industry news, guest speakers, a little bit of gossip, and, of course, rambling. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Thanks, guys. All the latest football news right here on the SEO podcast.
Bye.
Yep.
Take care.
See you guys.